Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Salim Akhtar Malik, your host at the Observation Post channel. On this channel, I discuss issues of national importance, defense matter, military history, as well as any other topic which may be of interest to my viewers. You can connect with me at my Twitter handle, which is at Salim Akhtar 53, and you can also enrich my knowledge and my perception by giving your views and comments, which I hold in a very high esteem, because these help me in fine-tuning my thoughts, rather calibrating my thoughts. So this is more of a forum where we can discuss, where rather I can discuss my thoughts, share my thoughts with my viewers. Before I proceed further, I would request you to please subscribe to my channel. In this session, I'll be talking to you about India's machinations in Balochistan and should Pakistan respond to India's actions for promoting terrorism in Balochistan by hitting at India's chicken's neck in its northeast. So what is India's chicken's neck? There is a chicken's neck in the Sialkot sector, and there is another chicken's neck in India's northeast, which separates the 7 northeastern states, which are also called the Seven Sisters, from the rest of India. And these states are Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Tripura, Arunachal, and Sikkim. Now, Sikkim was a semi-independent state till 1974, when it was annexed by India through a sponsored agitation, through a put-up agitation, where the Indian agents fomented trouble against the local ruler, and this resulted in India annexing Sikkim. So this is India's northeast, and as I said, it is connected with India, with the rest of India, through a narrow corridor, which is almost 22 kilometers wide. This narrow corridor links the northern tip of Bangladesh with south of the southern end of Bhutan. Now, if this is choked, the northeastern states, which I have mentioned just now, they will be cut off from the rest of Indian Union. So this is India's chicken's neck in the northeast. It is called Siliguri corridor. We come back to the discussion whether Pakistan should pay India back in the northeast by fomenting trouble in its chicken's neck. So we go back to 1947, when India and Pakistan got independence from British rule. At that time, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who was the founder of Pakistan and the first Governor General of Pakistan, first Governor General of this independent state, which was known thereafter by Pakistan, he had stated, or rather he had expressed his desire that the future relations between India and Pakistan should be like those between the United States and Canada. That is, these should be free from any conflict or any friction. He had also talked about a local Monroe Doctrine, which would seal the subcontinent from any outside interference. But that was not to be, because Pakistan and India at the time of independence, their leadership had been nurturing different strategic objectives. For Pakistan, the strategic objective was to survive and to maintain its sovereignty. Whereas for India, it was to reintegrate Pakistan into the Indian Union. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was independent India's first Home Minister, had said that the partition of India was a temporary phenomena and Pakistan would be soon brought back into the pack. Likewise, Nehru, independent India's first Prime Minister, in a letter addressing Brigadier Cariappa, who was a member of the Reconstitution Commission formed by the British to oversee the division of assets between the armies of newly born dominions of India and Pakistan. Cariappa had subsequently become independent India's first Chief of Army Staff also. So in this letter, which was addressed to Cariappa, Nehru had stated, I will read out to you the excerpts from his book or from his letter. He says, let things take shape for a while, but of one thing I am convinced, that ultimately there will be a united and strong India. We will have to go through the valley of shadows before we reach the sunlit mountain top. So this was Jawharlal Nehru expressing his desire to reunite Pakistan with India subsequently. And this was the same Jawharlal Nehru who, while addressing Braj Kumar Nehru, or BK Nehru in short, who was independent India's first High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, he had stated, Nehru, while addressing BK Nehru, stated, let us see for how long Pakistan survives. So this was the position on the eve of independence and on the eve of the partition of subcontinent into two independent dominions of Pakistan and India. Now, Indian meddling in the internal affairs of Pakistan started soon after 1947, that is soon after Pakistan gained independence from Britain. So this was in line with the Congress leadership's desire to bring Pakistan back into the pack. Now, Baluchistan had a distinct position. It was not a province. It was ruled directly from Delhi during the British rule. And it was the British who had united this region, that is the region of Baluchistan, into an entity. Otherwise, it was a tribal, it had remained a tribal confederacy since times immemorial. It was never under a single authority, and it was the British who had brought it into their authority after integrating it into their British Empire, that is the British Indian Empire. Being a tribal society, it was ruled by tribal chiefs or sardars who held sway in their respective areas, within their respective tribes, and they ruled the roost. When Pakistan came into existence, all these tribal leaders or sardars, they started agitating for independence from Pakistan. They started talking about people's rights or human rights. In fact, they were not talking about the rights of the common man in their region, but for their own vested interests. Because all the resources, which included arable land, water resources, now Balochistan is a water stressed region where water is a very important commodity. So all the water courses, which included the streams and the underground wells, they were the property of the Sardars, and the Sardars also controlled the mineral wealth. It is a mineral rich area, and all the mines, most of the mines were under the control of the Sardars. So establishment of Pakistan hit at the very interests of these tribal leaders, and they started agitating for independent status. And in this desire of theirs, they were helped by India and the erstwhile Soviet Union, which since Pakistan's independence had been at loggerheads with this new state. And it always supported India against Pakistan. Again, it supported India in her designs against Pakistan. So this was the situation, and as a result of Indian meddling, supported by the Soviet Union, a series of insurgencies hit Balochistan from time to time. These insurgencies were met, but they were like a vicious cycle. By the time one insurgency would be extinguished, another insurgency would start raising its head. And this continues to this day. And even today, the Baluch insurgents and the separatists, they have India's active help. Now, this brings China-Pakistan economic corridor into the discussion. Now, China-Pakistan economic corridor, I had been saying in the past also, it is like an overland Suez Canal, which provides China, that is China's western provinces of Xinjiang and Tibet, access to the Indian Ocean through Pakistani territory. And this is a little more than 2,000 kilometers long. It links Kashgar in China with the port of Gwadar, which Pakistan is developing on the Arabian Sea coast. So this will provide China an opportunity to carry out trade with the oil-rich Gulf region, and it will also facilitate economic development of Pakistan, because a number of economic zones are going to be created within this corridor, along with developed communication infrastructure. So this has added to the importance of Balochistan. China has now a vested interest in keeping China-Pakistan economic corridor open, and India has a vested interest in blockading it or blocking it. And in this desire of India, the United States is on the side of India. Now, India, even before independence, had been nurturing the desire to control Afghanistan. Once India became independent, their leaders, the Congress leaders, had the desire of controlling Afghanistan once India became independent. And for that, they had eyed the strategic province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. They had planned to get Khyber Pakhtunkhwa integrated into the Indian Union, but that was not to be. That did not happen. And Pakistan, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province became part of Pakistan. And soon after independence, Pakistan, foreseeing India's designs, got the strategic region of Gilgit-Baltistan liberated and thereafter integrated into Pakistan. So this is an eyesore, and this is a big heartburn, big source of pain for India. And that is why it is after blockading or blocking the China-Pakistan economic corridor. It does not want China-Pakistan economic corridor to become functional. So we come back to the chicken's neck in India's northeast. As I said, this is a narrow sliver of land which connects the 7 northeastern states of India with the rest of India. And if choked, India would be cut off from its northeast. It is like a severed arm which is dangling precariously, and which is attached to the main body with a thin membrane, and that thin membrane is the Siliguri corridor, which I said is a 22 kilometer or 14 miles wide stretch of land, small piece of land which connects the rest of India with its northern states. Pakistan has a history of supporting the independence movements of these states because ethnically and racially, the people of these states, they do not belong to the rest of Indian people. They do not have any affinity with the rest of India, and they had always been part of various Burmese kingdoms, or what are now known as the Republic of Myanmar. So ethnically, they were always part of Myanmar. And the British, during their rule of the Indian subcontinent, they had got control not only Myanmar, but also these states which were semi-independent even at that time. They were nominally under the control of various Burmese kingdoms. So the people of this region, that is the northeastern states, which are 7 in number, they had never wanted to become part of India. That is why on 14th August, the freedom fighters of Nagaland, they declared independence along with Pakistan's independence, and these people even today celebrate their national day, their Independence Day, on 14th August. And all the rest of the states also, they never accepted Indian rule, and they had started independence movements which are going on even today, more than 70 years after India's independence from foreign rule. So this is the situation. Pakistan had been helping the Mizo and Naga rebels, but this help stopped when Bangladesh came into existence in 1971. But it restarted. Pakistan re-established its contacts with the Naga and Mizo rebels somewhere in 1980s. So this is the region where the strategic interests of both India and China, both India, this is the region where the strategic interests of both China and Pakistan converge, and it is in the interests of Pakistan and China to destabilize India in its northeast. There is another reason for Pakistan and China to hit India at its northeast. It is the fact that whatever happens in the region of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, that is CPEC, is directly linked with what is happening in the South China Sea, where presently the United States and China are confronting each other for the control of the Indo-Pacific region. And in this conflict between China and the United States, India is the United States' strategic partner. And the United States has tasked India for monitoring the Chinese submarine traffic through the Malacca Strait, which is a narrow strait that joins the South China Sea with the rest of the Indian Ocean and subsequently links it, the shipping with the Persian Gulf. So not only has the United States tasked India to monitor the Chinese submarine traffic through the Strait of Malacca, but also encourages India to block the Strait of Malacca in the event of a conflict between the United States and China. And the American think tanks, as well as the European think tanks, they say that India can easily block the Strait of Malacca by simply parking a few of its naval ships at the mouth of the Malacca Strait. It is a harebrained scheme. The fact is that in case the Strait of Malacca is blocked, it will be blocked for the shipping, for the maritime movement of all the states which use the Strait of Malacca. So this is what the new game, about the new great game, which spans the regions of northwest of Pakistan, through which the CPEC passes, and the northeast of India, in the vicinity of the Malacca Strait. This is the great game which is going on in this area. This is all that I wanted to say in this session. See you in the next session with a new topic. Till then, bye-bye.